Brutal decision. We're going to read this section and then you're going to stop and come up with the main idea and supporting details. Brutal decision. When Albert finally made it up to the surface, he found panic. Smoke was gushing out of the mine. Women and children were rushing to the scene. They were desperate to find their husbands and sons and brothers. Meanwhile, down below, miners were rushing to get out. But the tunnels were blocked by flames, mules, and coal cars. Over the next few hours, more than 200 men and boys would escape. One brave group began taking the cage up and down, plucking their fellow miners from the flames. They made 6 trips and saved dozens of men before they died heroically in the fire. Around 4 p.m., mine company leaders made a hard decision to close off the air shaft. This would choke the fire out, they hoped. Fires need oxygen to keep burning. To many, this decision was cruel. Without fresh air flowing, anyone still alive wouldn't last long. Many said the mine company cared more about its coal than the other human beings. When the sun set that day, the fire showed little sign of slowing down. More than 200 miners were still trapped. In the coming days, the fire would continue to burn. More than 1,000 people arrived in Cherry to help. Donations poured in. The disaster was front-page news across the country. On November 20, a week after the fire started, rescue crews finally entered the mine. The only survivors were a group of 20 men. They had found a spot with breathable air away from the fire. Tragically, 259 miners died in the disaster. Albert's brother, Richard, was one of them. Okay, so here, stop and go fill out your graphic organizer for the main idea and supporting details of that section. New laws. Today, this disaster has been largely forgotten, yet it helped bring important change. After the fire, the public was angry. People rallied to help survivors and the families of the victims. A huge investigation was also started, and Albert himself testified. The mine company was fined for illegally employing underage kids. Over the next few years, new safety rules were created. The changes helped lead to laws that protect workers. The Cherry Mine disaster also showed the sad situation of child workers. It helped start a movement that, in 1938, made child labor against the law in the U.S. at last. As for Albert, his days working in the coal mine were over. He moved to a nearby town and became a tree trimmer. Albert would live his life not in the darkness of the earth, but in the light of the sky. Now, go fill out your graphic organizer for that section.